Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, we're going to be doing a really awesome and interesting deck profile. I'll be the first one to admit, guys, I never thought I was going to do a deck profile on this deck, ever. But alas, Konami has proven me wrong. And today for you guys, we are going to be doing an Ice Barrier deck profile. Now, I will admit, this is not the first time an Ice Barrier deck profile has been done on this channel. My friend of mine back in college, actually, many years ago when this channel was very young, probably less than 1,000 subscribers back then, actually did a deck profile of Ice Barriers back then. There were certain cards in that Ice Barrier deck I did not like. There were certain Ice Barriers I wasn't fond of really that much. But, you know, as time has gone on, they got not as good and more powerful cards came out. To the point where Ice Barriers became a meme. And Konami said, and the community apparently voted on it, Ice Barriers will no longer be a meme. And alas, we have an Ice Barrier structure deck, which is pretty decent, pretty good, I feel like. Now, saying all that, there's different variations of Ice Barrier deck profiles out there and different things people are doing. The structure deck is very new still. People are still playtesting. People are still trying different ratios and different things out. This is what's been working for me as I've playtested online against buddies of mine and in real life a little bit since I've had the cards in my hand. So far, I do thoroughly enjoy this build, and it's been working pretty well for me. So, without further ado, let us get into today's deck profile of Ice Barriers. I personally never thought I'd be doing a deck profile of this. First, we run 3 Revealer of the Ice Barrier. Revealer is really nice, probably my favorite Ice Barrier. Lore-wise, I think she has something to do with the Gishkis, because I know a lot of the Gishki girls have red hair, so I don't know if there's a correlation. Somebody can let me know down below. Because Ice Barriers do have a dual terminal lore if you're not familiar with Ice Barriers and just know them from the structure deck. This girl's pretty good. She permits tribute fodder, so monarchs hate her. But for the most part, the main thing she's going to be great for is bringing out tuners for the deck to help go for synchro summons. So she's very nice in that regards. But she's a staple 3-of in my opinion, and definitely my favorite Ice Barrier. Next we run 3 Speaker of the Ice Barrier. Apparently she's a girl that lives in the Ice Barrier world and speaks to Ice Barrier monsters? I guess that's a thing. Speaker of the Ice Barrier is pretty decent. When she's engraved, you can banish her to get a token, which is cute. But she's mainly going to be here to be Ice Barrier fodder for your synchros. And she's very good at that because she can be easily special summoned out and you can do different things with her. So I definitely feel like she's a staple 3-of in my opinion. She is the cutest of the Ice Barriers. I've always liked Ice Barriers artwork because they've reminded me somewhat, if you guys are familiar with Avatar: The Last Airbender and the Northern Water Tribe from that series, they look very similar. And ever since Dual Terminal came out, I always thought that correlation between the two was very similar as well. So I definitely think they look very nice in that aspect. But the newer Ice Barrier artworks look very nice, and they feel like they fit right in with the old ones. 2 Richard Pryor. Somebody we'll get that joke out there, but 2 Richard Pryor, Pryor of the Ice Barriers. Really good card. Really good card, but prior to the new Ice Barrier support, Pryor of the Ice Barrier was a staple 3-of in any Ice Barrier deck. I've seen some people that are familiar with, who have played it before, they still run it as a 3-of. Me personally, with the newer support, I feel it's more of a 2-of because the downside of not being able to bring out level 5s, which has been a downside for a long time, even when you were running the general Ice Barriers, like Gantala and things of that nature. So, at the end of the day, I think it's definitely a good 2-of for recovery reasons, but Richard Pryor as a 2-of in the deck. And next we run 3 General Wayne of the Ice Barriers, John Wayne himself. I think that's what X-Saber Wayne and this card are based off of, John Wayne, I think, if you guys are familiar with old cowboy movies. But General Wayne of the Ice Barriers is really cool. I love it. Now, it does take some setup, and I will admit this is the one Ice Barrier monster that I think a lot of people debating upon ratios. Some people like it as a 3-of, some people like it as a 2-of. I've gone back and forth personally between 2 and 3. It's a really easy way to get special summon him out, which is nice. And in addition to that, he can search spells and traps for your Ice Barriers, mainly your spells, which is they're pretty powerful spells. But it's a debatable, I guess you could say, if you run 3 with 2 of him, I feel like. But personally, I like 3 of. 2 Hexus, Spirit of the Ice Bearer. This is a 2 of. I see people run it as a 1 of, and I get it, but at the end of the day, I like it as a 2 of because of its level manipulation. It's a really nice tuner to have in the deck, I feel like, as a level 1 tuner. Debating about it wise, I haven't thought really of cutting it down to 1 of. But 2 of it's really good because it's pretty basic to help go for your bigger synchro plays and to synchro up and synchro climb. Next, 1 Zujin of the Ice Bearers. This is just a good 1 of to have. It's very useful to help go into your Halki Falbrax in some instances. 1 Defender of the Ice Barrier. I will be honest, this is probably the Ice Barrier I hate the most because I used to play Gravekeepers in the deck back in the day against my buddy, and this card ruined my day. Like, too many times to count. I don't know what he kept doing, but it kept annoying me, so yeah, I hate this card. But it's a good level 3 tuner in the deck, nevertheless, of what my preferences are on the card. Next, we also run Strategist of the Ice Barrier. This is like a little draw engine for the deck. It's a little draw engine card. Some people are running Strategist, some people are not. I like it as a 1 of option. It's a tech option in the deck, but he may come out in the future. We also are running 1 Geomancer of the Ice Barrier. Yes, we're running that package. I actually really like that package in the deck with the Atlantean Dragoons, etc. If you can't afford Geomancer, that's perfectly fine. There are different options, but I like it. Geomancer is really nice. It's just an option to discard your water monsters, which is cool, to help set things up. He is a level 3 tuner, so he's another option along with, which is level 3 tuners are your most used tuners, I would say, next to your level 1. But besides using Defender, you can also use Geomancer because he's a level 3 tuner as well. So if you can't afford it, you can. If not, that's fine. I had a dual terminal 1 in my binder, so great. Next, we run 3 Atlantean Dragoons. Atlantean Dragoons is going to be used with your 1 Atlantean Prince or Neptibus. This package I really like in the deck. This was something I was hesitant of running, but I had all the cards, and I tried it out for about 2 weeks when I first saw and heard some people talking about it, and I tried it out, and I like it. I like it in the deck. It fits very well. The Neptibus combos with the Atlantean Dragoons, there are some little hand loops you can do. I don't consider them consistent, but I do find that you can go for them often. But the Dragoons engine is really nice to have because it gives you some search power, it gives you some ability to get some engines going, get things going, and not have to rely solely on an Ice Barrier engine. But I like it in the deck. We also run 2 Deep Sea Diva. Some people like 3 of this in this build of the deck. I like 2. There are different routes. Like I said, this is where it kind of diverges on what engines, what cards you want to run. You have your mainstay Ice Barrier monsters, and then people running different things and different engines. Me, I like the 2 Deep Sea Diva. You have a lot of targets with which we've shown about with your Atlantean Dragoons. You can go off plays like that, which is really cool because you do have some basic level 6s as well. So, and it's a tuner as well, so you can use it for different things. I like it in the deck as a 2 of. I don't think 3 of is really necessary. It can help you go for things like Halki Falbrax in some instances, but I like it as a 2 of in the deck, really. 1 Christian Citri, 1 Lapis Dragon, and 1, Mulin Glacia, the Elemental Lord. I had something in my throat there. Citri is another level 2 tuner, which is very useful for the deck, I find, overall. The interesting thing about Citri is he has gotten expensive because of this deck, but once you start playing around with Citri, you understand why he's so good. Lapis is a tech option that I may cut out in the future. It is something you can search off your Dragoons, which is very nice in the deck to have. Because you can help you bring out and get some fodder on the field to go for synchro plays. But alas, I may cut it in the future. Have to do more play testing, especially when we get the newer Ice Barrier monsters, which I think are coming out of the next main set. I think that there's a new card coming out. We'll play around with ratios in the deck, and there may be some cards that will get cut eventually. 1 Mulin Glacia, it does involve a little bit of a hand loop, but saying that too, it's very easy to get Mulin Glacia off, so why not run it in the deck, I find. It's fairly easy to get Mulin Glacia's effects off. For hand traps, you can run whatever you want. I like Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs because it's so generic. It hits just about every deck under the sun. And for that reason, I feel like it's a staple 3 of in the deck. You can run whatever you want to, though. Medallion of the Ice Barriers has been a staple 3 of in any Ice Barrier strategy since this card came out in the 5Ds era. Hands freaking down. It's a Rhoda for the deck, pretty much. Add 1 Ice Barrier monster from your deck to your hand. If it wasn't for this card, I wouldn't be running things like Strategist and other 1-of Ice Barriers, but because this card exists, you run it. It's a staple 3 of in the deck, and it's pretty much Rhoda for the deck, which is amazing. Next we run 3 Freezing Chains of the Ice Barriers, which is a pretty good card. I've seen some people run 2 of it because they say it takes setup. I'm not of that thought. I feel like it's a great card. It's pretty much a Monster Reborn for your low-level Ice Barrier monsters, which is really nice because that means you're synchros. But I definitely feel it's a staple 3 of in the deck, just like Medallion is. It's very, very useful. 2 wins over the Ice Barriers. I've seen people run different ratios of this card as a 1 of and a 2 of. I like it as a 3 of personally. It's really amazing how hard you can go off with this card and how much it can do for you, but I feel like 3 is too much, 1 is too little, and 2 is the perfect number personally. But this can really help you go off and do different synchro plays, etc. For some 1-ofs, 1 Call by the Grave helps protect you against hand traps and very versatile. 1 Upstart Goblin. I want some draw consistency in this deck, just not Rhoda, not just searching. I want something to make me just deck thin. So Upstart Goblin works pretty well. You don't really care about the life points nowadays. And 1 Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn's debatable. This is somewhat of a combo synchro deck in some regards, and that's why I'm running the Monster Reborn. If you want to cut it for other things, be my guest. But that's up to you to decide. On to your extra deck now. Extra deck wise, we're running our Dark Magician Field Center. We're one Christrion. Some of these are for Needle Fiber and the different synchros you can go, but Christrion Contex, 1 Power Insectron. I literally had this in one of my trade binders. Thankfully, I didn't trade it away. 1 Shooting Star Riser Dragon. This card is really underrated. This card really is. I forgot about this card completely. Shooting Riser Dragon is really good. Borreload Savage Dragon. It's pretty staple. Level 6s, 7s. And then you're going to link climb up usually a lot of the time. So that's what you're going to see in this deck a lot. 1 Emancipator Rise Dragonite. Really, really good card for negation. 1 Christian Phoenix. This card is underrated. Like, oh my gosh, this card is so cool in this deck, especially with Citry. Woo! 1 White Or Whale, or White Or Whale is pretty dang good. Try it out. Try it out. 1 Satellite Warrior. This is just one of your big ones you can go for. 1 Trishula Zero Dragon of the Ice Bearer. This is the new version of Trishula, which is pretty good. We also, in addition to that, guys, run 1 just OG Trishula over here, which works out pretty well. Let me just scoot these cards over for you guys so you can see better, hopefully. My apologies. I've tried to deal with that glare all evening. Then we run some Exceeds. We run your Bahamut and also your Totally Awesome, because we're totally awesome out in here. But Totally Awesome and Bahamut Shark work out pretty well in the deck for your Toad Bahamut Shark plays, but that's pretty straightforward, I feel like. 2 Marinsis Coral Anemone. Anemone is definitely, I feel like, a staple 2 of in this version of the deck. It's worked out pretty well for me. And 1 Needle Christrion Howker Fibrax is a good 1 of in the deck because you're a synchro deck, you're going to go for different things, and it's very easy to go for Howky Fibrax as well. So, hope you guys all enjoy this video. I know I went into some detail with this deck. It's fairly straightforward. It's a combo synchro deck that's going to go for big synchro monsters. That's pretty straightforward, I feel like, and a synopsis of how this deck is going to function the best for you guys. But I hope you guys all enjoy this video. Like I said, it's so freaking awesome to think to yourself, wow, in 2021, Ice Barriers got a structure deck and became viable. I never thought those words would utter out of my lips, but it has. And it's so fun to play this deck because it's one of those dual terminal decks that you remember if you're an older school player from the 5Ds era, but you always remember them as being a bad meme deck. And now they got new support, and it makes me wonder, are like X-Sabers and other dual terminal decks going to get more support in the future. I look forward to that. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, and good luck dueling to all of you, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you guys.